Welcome into the Fantasy Incline Podcast. We're your host, Gino Osamacher, and to my right, Nick Jansons. How's it going today, Nico?
I'm doing great, G. Thank you, brother.
We just want to do the first episode, I guess you could say, short little episode here. We're gonna basically just describe who we are, why we're doing the podcast, what's gonna be happening over these next few months. We're getting into the summer, and whenever the weather starts getting warmer, everyone starts thinking about fantasy football, of course, because it's always a highlight.
Yeah, it's great.
And so just to introduce myself, I'm Gino. I go to the University of Michigan, as you can kind of tell if you're watching on YouTube. Um, and yeah, Nico.
Uh, my name's Nick Jansen. People usually call me Neco. Is my nickname.
Yeah, by the way, if we ever have a guest on here named Nick Newcomer, it's gonna get a little confusing. We'll refer to him as Nick and Nico as Nico.
Yes, sir. I just go to a little small community college in Michigan, so that's really all I'm doing.
Um, so I'll just ask you, Nico, why are we doing the podcast?
Well, we've been in a serious fantasy league for about like 5-6 years now. So kind of feel like we can expand our knowledge to other people. Maybe
Maybe win you guys some leagues.
Yep, exactly. So that's what we're here for.
Um, and so our league. So glad you brought up the league there. Our league is an 8-team league. We have some of the best players we could possibly find, all our age. And we run a 2 quarterback league, which is not exactly the standard. um, with a quarter point PPR, just to mix it in there. And I really love our league format. I would guess you could attest to that too.
Yeah, I would definitely say what makes it the most fun with a 2 QB league is the draft.
Yeah, the draft you can't really go by the expert and like all of the oh, here's a mock draft, here's a ranking sheet. It's not going to be exactly like to our league. It's not going to be to our league standards. So you kind of have to make up your own strategy, and that's the best part about it. And I guess you could say some people are better at that strategy than others.
Yeah.
We have had 4 years of the trophy being handed out, and um, 2 of the years I've won it, and 3 of the years our buddy Lance has been in the championship. So I think we've kind of figured out who's figured out the whole
game
format
plan,
here, the
yeah.
game plan.
Very competitive fantasy player, I will say that.
Yes, we all get very competitive, and the guest on the show will most likely be mostly from the league. So in the league, we've got Lance Tyson. He's been in the championship 3 times and won it once. Um, he'll be on here regularly. Stu Devonish has made the championship once.
And he usually always places top 4 too. So that's a good
and
player.
we'll have stories about Stu throughout the podcast. You'll get to hear about Stu. I guarantee you'll get to hear about Stu, but he'll be on here. He can talk himself. He can defend himself.
Yeah.
Ian Senio, he'll probably be on here at some point. We got Nick Newcomer. He should be a regular. He's been wanting to do a podcast. He's talking to me about that, so he'll probably be on here regularly. Ryan Matthews, as Stu knows him, Gump.
Gump.
We'll get him on here. Big hockey guy.
Raiders fan too.
And new addition to the league, Jake Myers. We'll definitely get him on here. Big Steelers fan. Jake and I have a little beef. He's also a big Ohio State fan, and obviously you go to Michigan. So, but we'll get Jake on here, and we'll pull guests from
Yeah,
other
that's
places. It
not the
won't just be
only
our
guest
league.
we're gonna be using, but the- we'll be having I would say quite a few guests on here, and majority of them are probably gonna be from our league. So
Yep. And then speaking about fandom, um, we should probably just announce our biases before the show. So we're big Lions fans, as you can tell. We are from Southeast Michigan, right around Detroit. Been to our fair share of Lions games. Um, so you take that as you want it. We'll try and be as impartial as possible. Uh, Coming as a Lions fan, a lot of Lions fans are critical of their own team. So you take that as you want. That we are Lions fans, and you can have sympathy for us. You don't have to. I have sympathy for
yeah,
it. I also am a big Tom Brady fan. Obviously, went to Michigan, so follow him around. I've been a Patriots fan for my entire life, and now go Bucks. So those are my biases. And Nico,
just really just a huge Detroit fan. I love the Lions to the death of me. So
Detroit sports in total. I know this is about fantasy football, but I mean, Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons.
yep,
Big fan.
definitely. But outside of that, I mean, of course, I follow every team, but definitely it's Lions.
Yeah, and I mean we're gonna be as impartial as possible. It's not gonna be like, oh my god, like DeAndre Swift, Carryon Johnson,
Yep,
like
exactly.
you have to draft him. We're not gonna give you advice that
Matthew
we
Stafford,
think
top
is
3 QB.
we're not gonna give you advice that we think is bad. Like that's just not gonna be a thing that we're gonna do. Um, and so you take it as you want to. So yeah, that's why we're here. This is what we're doing. You'll see us throughout the summer. We'll we'll get episodes up. We might start a regular schedule, or it might just be surprise new episode kind of thing. Um, so places to check us out at Fantasy Incline on Twitter. We'll post on there when new videos come up, where to find those videos. But if you want to find them yourself, you go to the Fantasy Incline on YouTube. We'll have videos if you're watching this on YouTube already, or the Fantasy Incline on Spotify, and anywhere you get your podcast will probably be on there. And if you have any questions, we might read them on the show. Hint, hint. You can email the Fantasy Incline at gmail.com. So that's it. Episode 1, short one, little intro. Um, we'll be seeing you guys a lot.